I don't even know what's true and what's not.
Grandma's name is Gertrude.
We're going to play a game of Story Telephone. I'll start by telling a short story and then send that video to someone else on the team who's only allowed to watch it through once. Next, they have to record themselves retelling the story to the best of their memory before sending it on to the next person, etc., etc. Until we finally get to the end to see how terribly my beautiful story was hilariously ruined. Every Christmas, my great-great-grandmother used to tell us the story of how she got the recipe for her world-famous pie. She grew up on a farm as a little girl in Nottinghamshire and had a best friend that was a magical rabbit that she swore could talk to her. Every Tuesday morning at 7:42 a.m., she would enter the forest next to the rock that looked like a toad. Then she would cross over the creek and take a left at the trees that had fallen into the shape of an H. After 50 steps, she'd stop and sing a little tune. La 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 la. Then the most beautiful white rabbit would come out and they would play together and have so much fun. Their favorite thing to do was to forage for food. He showed her the most juiciest black raspberries that you could ever imagine. He showed her an apple tree and taught her how to climb up to the top to get the biggest apples. He brought her to the clearing in the forest where rhubarb grew that was the size of your arm. They had so much fun together, but one day she went out into the forest and couldn't find him. She searched everywhere, but all she could find was a letter that he had written. It said, "Dear Gertrude, I've had the most loveliest time, but now it's time for me to go share the secrets of the forest with other children." Enclosed was a recipe. And every Christmas we had the most delicious Mima's magical pie. She never saw the rabbit again, but she always said that one day she was sure she was gonna run into someone with a story quite like hers.
Every Christmas, when we go to my grandmother's house, we have apple pie, and she tells us the story of how she got the secret recipe to this apple pie. My grandma. Dang it. You calm down, it's fine. The grandma has an imaginary friend that's a rabbit, and the rabbit and the grandma would go to the forest and they would hop along across the river onto the little rocks that were in the shape of an H, and this was in a place called Nottinghamshire. And I need to stop. And the grandma would sing a song, tra-la-la-la. And they crossed the river and they hopped around, and the rabbit and her would sing songs, and they were best friends or whatever. And one day they were in the forest and the rabbit disappeared, and she was all sad because she was looking for her rabbit friend, and she found a note that said, "Dear Gertrude, I had a fun time with you, but I have to go share magic secrets of the forest with other kids." And yeah, and then then she went home or whatever, and then I think that's the end of that story. And then they had Mima's magical pie at the end of the story, and that's it.
Every year at Christmas time, we would go to our grandmother Gertrude's house, and every year at Christmas, she would make us this apple pie. And supposedly there was like some secret to it or something. It's some special pie. I think this was in like Nottinghamshire or something, like near the forest. I don't know, but supposedly the grandmom had like some magical prowess, and she had like animals that could talk to her. Some real Cinderella. Wait, is it Cinderella? Yeah, some real Cinderella type stuff. And they danced in the forest and they sang stuff, and then I guess one day when the grandmother tried to go back to the forest, all of her magical creature friends were gone, and so oh boy, what what happened next. Oh, and then they went back to the house, and then they had Christmas. Wait, no. The creature, I think, was it a cat? No, it was so. I don't know. It was some furry little. I think it was like a hamster or something. No, it was a rabbit. It was a rabbit. The creature that she had fun in the forest with was a rabbit. That was the creature. I did it.
So every year we went to Grandma Gertrude's house. Gertrude, I think. Grandma Gertrude's house, sure. And she would make this special pie. Was it a pie or a cake? It was a pie. Special pie, sure. With some special ingredients in it. Don't know what they were, but they were special. So that's why, because they're secretive. So they're special. And Grandma Gertrude had magical powers and lived in a forest. And Zach said she was like Cinderella. I didn't think Cinderella had magical powers. I thought it was Tangled. Anyways, I'm getting the princesses wrong. That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is she has magical powers and she could go into the woods and talk to the animals. Yes. And I think her special animal maybe was a rabbit. Zach cannot remember. So let's say it's a rabbit. I don't know the rabbit's name. Maybe the rabbit's name was Little G. Grandma's name was Gertrude. Then all of a sudden one year, Grandma Gertrude lost her powers in the woods. So they came back to the house at Christmas. The end.
I used to go visit Grandma Gertrude every year because she made this special pie with some special ingredients. Went to see Grandma Gertrude this one particular year, and she loved to go into the woods. And on this certain occasion, pointed out that she found this special friend, which was a rabbit, because she loves animals. And this pie gives you special powers or something, and Grandma Gertrude has these special powers, and she has this little friend called Little G. This one year went in, spoke to this special rabbit, and it sounds like that was pretty much the story, to be honest, except that Grandma Gertrude lost all her special powers. We went home, and then it was Christmas, which of course is worth going home for, and this story is ridiculous.
I go to visit my grandmother, Gertrude, every single year, and she has very special powers, right? And these powers come from a very special pie. I think in my head I'm picturing like some sort of rhubarb pie, which I'm a really big fan of. So in this special pie, she has very special ingredients, and that very special ingredient is a mystery, but it can be found in a very special forest. So when I go to visit my grandmother, she decides to take me into the forest with her. She meets a very special friend, and that very special friend is a small bunny rabbit who is named Little G. And Little G helps Grandma Gertrude find her very special ingredients for her very special pie. So we have gone into the forest. She meets Little G for her very special ingredients for this pie. Once she finds the ingredients for the pie, she then takes it back to her house, and it's Christmas somehow. And then apparently Grandma Gertrude lost all of her special powers, maybe because Little G was not so helpful after all.
I go to visit Grandma Gertrude, and she's got special powers, right? That she gets from making this pie, right? She has a secret ingredients to make this pie that gives her special powers. So I go to visit my grandma and my grandma Gertrude, and she's like, "Hey, we should go get the special ingredients, right? From this forest, you know." So we go into the forest to get this special ingredient, and turns out she gets this special ingredient from a rat. It's either a rat or a meerkat. Let's go with meerkat. She goes find this meerkat named Little G. You know, and they go looking for the special ingredient together. They end up finding it. Big old party. Little G's excited, you know. They go back home, but your boy Little G runs away with the special ingredient and gyps her out of the whole deal, dude. So turns out Little G wasn't much of a G.
I don't feel like that's right, but that is what Zach said. Pretty much verbatim actually, so you're welcome. Good luck to the next one.